Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Friday morning to you. Welcome to the show. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live comes to you from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Also brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Toyota. The Toyota Tacoma is your MVP, most versatile pickup. Head to the road to Total Savings, US 119 in Chapmanville, or visit ThornhillToyotaWV.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. Texting services are provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Tailor, Virginia Street in Charleston. Tony the Tailor is getting into his fall shoe sale. I'm going to have more on that coming up a little bit later on. Visit his website, bestmastertailor.com. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Happy Friday. Coming up a little bit later on the show, Greg Thomas is here. He's the director of West Virginia Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. Always entertaining when Mr. Thomas is on the show. We'll talk over some stuff with him. Plus, Jim Strawn and company are here. I say company because he has with him Andrew Blackwood, who's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity, and they have a special event coming up with Chef Paul. We'll talk about that. Plus, we have Hannah Gardner here, as we do every Friday from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Your calls and texts are welcome to. Kind of a historic day here in the Par-Mar Store studio, because this is the last day that will actually be in this particular studio. Like the Jeffersons, we are moving on up, or in this case, down. Come Monday, we're going to be in our new temporary home downstairs here at 1111. It's a temporary home because we're getting all new digs up here, complete with TV cameras, lights, and more. Chris Lawrence, you're looking forward to this, aren't you, man?
Oh, yes. I've been in radio 35 years now, a little over 35 years. I have never, ever in my career worked in a brand new studio. So, yeah, Monday will be a milestone event in my career. And
this studio, I mean, they've and we talked about this a little bit on the air, not that the listeners necessarily care, but they are, we had a total redo here, so they're moving us downstairs into one of those new studios.
And that's going to be the transition studio for everybody in the building. Everybody will rotate through that studio until the last rebuild is done, and I think it's your boy Steve Animal in the Mountain is going to get it. He'll be the last guy in there.
Well, he should be.
And then he'll never leave. That's where he will be locked up and kept.
Because it'll be trashed. There'll be beer cans all over the place.
If it's not before then, he will definitely be. Good thing he's the last one to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll smell like bad decisions
exactly.
in there as well. All right, so you're here to talk about high school football. Last night, Tom Bragg and Matt Murphy had the call to the Hoover-Wayne game. That was kind of a blowout. As we kind of, unfortunately for Wayne, we kind of thought it would be Hoover improved to, I think, 6-0?
Yeah, right? They're 6-0, and you heard Joey Fields on the morning news talking about it, and it was they're really in just a mode now to try and host a couple of playoff games. That's sort of their goal at this point.
And to stay healthy, too.
Yeah, they'd like to host at least 2, maybe even 3 playoff games, and then just drive to Charleston for the title. Which this year that's what they would do.
Let's talk about the game that you and Aaron Parker have tonight.
Well, we've got Hurricane, who's number 9 in Class Quad A, taking on AAA Capital. Capital is 2-3, but they are a team that is dangerous because they've got a lot of skill. However, most of their, guys are young and they're just learning. But, man, they've got the raw talent there, as Capital always does. John Carpenter is the coach again. He's back in charge there, and he's starting to get them believing in themselves and starting to feel their oats. And, man, they'd like nothing more than to get a win and go to 3-3 on the season with a victory over Hurricane. That'll be a tall order because obviously Hurricane's got its mojo working as well. They took care of business last week against St. Albans, and they seem to have everything moving in the right direction. They felt real comfortable with they kind of used last week's game against St. Albans almost as an extra workout to get some things done and work out some kinks, and they felt pretty good about that. Tyshawn Dews, their standout wide receiver, didn't even play last week. He had a little bit of turf toe from the week before, so he got a rest. He'll be back in action, I think, tonight. And Shalik Hampton, their other wideout, has really been lights out. So if anybody can match up with these guys, definitely Capital has the skill to do it, but do they have the experience? And that'll be the question we're trying to answer tonight. Noah Velatambi, the quarterback at Hurricane, he's been lights out as well, so look for him to have a big evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing, speaking of new digs, because they are now hosting the State High School Football Championships, they've done a lot of work over at Laidley Field, University of Charleston Stadium, including a rebuild of the press box. And anybody who is familiar with that area, it used to be a big open-air rooftop broadcast facility. They've kind of divided that up, and that's where we'll be coming to you from tonight. And I'm told, I've not seen it yet, but I'm told by several people who have done games there that it's looking really nice over there.
That sounds good. The weather is going to be perfect fall weather, because we really haven't had, I don't think we've had a Friday night that actually felt like fall, but it's I felt
last week was close.
Okay, because when I stepped out of the house this morning, I was like, it's downright cold out
here.
I
was looking at that grass that needs mowed and going, die. Come on, Frost, just do it for me. Just kill it all.
So it is going to be great weather tonight for that Hurricane and Capital matchup, and of course we'll have all the coverage here starting at what time?
We'll be on the air at 7 following Sportsline. The kickoff is at 7:30 from Laidley Field.
Let's talk about West Virginia Outdoors tomorrow. What you got?
A couple of weeks ago, I went to the West Virginia Trappers Convention at Glenville, and I got a few interviews there. I'm going to put those together tomorrow for a pre-produced show, but really good information. Those trappers, man, those guys know the woods better than anybody. So we'll talk about trapping for the most part, and hoping to get an update. We talked about this right after Hurricane Helene. Bluestone Dam was full of debris and was almost up, was well above Summer Pool. All that's filtering down through the New River. How is that impacting fishing? Because this is a great time of year to be fishing the New River. Yeah. I'll talk to my buddy Larry Nybert with the West Virginia Experience tomorrow. He's going to give us an update on where things stand as far as fishing on the New River goes tomorrow. So that'll be part of the broadcast tomorrow as well. Looking forward to that.
Chris, I appreciate it. Next time we talk, we'll be in a new studio.
Well, yeah, let's hope.
That's the plan. We may be setting up out front outside.
We may have a couple of tin cans and a piece of string out on Virginia Street here, or a megaphone, just trying to get as many people as we can. Although, if we had a megaphone out in the parking lot, that would probably be equal your listenership. So there's that.
Yeah. That's nice, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
just because you're a Hall of Famer doesn't mean you can talk to me that way.
I give you the best audience you have coming into this thing. So I hope you appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Chris is responsible for me being here, so go ahead and blame him for that. All right, Chris, I appreciate it, man. Of course, after our coverage of Hurricane and Capital, stick around for Fred and Dave and the crew with Metro News Game Night. All right, let's transition, talk to Hannah Gardner from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Hannah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Welcome to the show. Now, you don't get to come in studio with us. You have a couple of times, but, this is kind of our thing we're all excited about here is we're getting a new studio. So the next time that you actually do grace us with your appearance here, it'll be in a brand new facility.
Ooh, I'll have to come see it.
Yes, absolutely. I'll send you some pictures a little bit later, and you can see. And maybe they told us, they sent out a memo that said in the new studios, no food or drink, and I think that probably applies to animals as well. So I don't know if they're going to allow dogs or cats in the studio.
Well, that is fine. We'll still have a little highlight.
All right, so let's talk about Mischief. That is our dog this week. Tell us the story of Mischief.
All right. Well, Mischief, he is a very, very sweet and outgoing boy. He is around 1 year old, and he definitely shows as though he is still a puppy. He is very much puppy-like. So if you're looking for a larger dog that is still puppy-like but is around 1 year, then he would be the perfect candidate for you. He came in as a stray to KCHA, so we don't know much about his background. We just know what we know from what he's been with us in our care. But we do know he was in a home once before, and they did verify that he is very puppy-like. He does like to romp and run and play and be rough, and he's just your typical puppy. He He would probably benefit from a crate for crate training or something like that, or if you have like a nice yard that he can run around in or something, just so that way he can run out that energy and get all of that out so he is more able to focus and pay attention and hang out with you and stuff like that. He's got a lot of energy that he needs to run out, but he is kid-friendly from what we've noticed. And he is foster eligible, so if you wanted to foster him for a few nights, we encourage it. He is a very, very good boy, and he loves other dogs. He's very, very playful with other dogs. He does pull on the leash a little bit, but that is expected, where he is still puppy-like. So if you just have some patience with him and work with him on that, he would be a great, great boy.
And again, his name is Mischief, and as always, I've got his picture posted. You can check it out for yourself. Beautiful dog. Dave Allen Radio on Facebook. That's where you'll find the picture of Mischief. And at Dave A70 or The Dave Allen Show on X, on the artist formerly known as Twitter. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is presented in part by General Hardware of Winfield and Milton and General Lumber of Winfield. All projects, big and small, shop locally. Visit generalhardwarewv.com. How are we looking as far as the numbers go at the shelter, Hannah?
Well, not too much different. We still kind of have just been hanging out in the overflow number range. We're still in critical capacity right now, but I will say we have been getting a good bit out. That doesn't mean that anything's really changing, because as soon as we get them out, we get more in. We get more in all the time. So it's kind of just like a rotating thing right now. We get a good bit out, and we get a good bit in, and it's not really changing at the very moment.
What do you need? As a matter of fact, just as I said that, somebody texted and said, do they still need blankets and towels? I think that's a given that you always do. Is that right?
Oh, my goodness, yes. We always need blankets and towels. We always need I do think we had gotten in when we asked for Purina dog chow. This just kind of gives you an example. We did ask for Purina dog chow last time that I was on this show, as well as on our social media, and we got in, I don't know, gosh, we got in probably over 100, almost maybe so, bags of dog food for the kennel dogs, and that was gone within that same week. So it was very, very fast. I think we were gone like earlier in that week. So yes, Purina dog chow, puppy chow, kitten chow. I know that the blankets and linens are always welcome. We always run through those because we can't keep a lot of them. A lot of them get too soiled for us to keep, so we have to throw them away. So yes, we are always, always, always wanting some blankets and linen. And
I think it's very important for listeners to remember that, they may be animal lovers and maybe they can't necessarily have an animal. They live in an apartment or something, or maybe they're just maxed out and they can't take it anymore. There are always ways that you can help the shelter that don't necessarily have to be hands-on, that you don't necessarily have to adopt a pet or even foster one. There are plenty of ways, if you're an animal lover like I am, like you are, there are other ways that people can help, and this would be a great one of those, but just helping with the supplies and donations of such.
Yes, of course. The donations are something that is a big, big, big help. We always love when people bring up some donations. It's very helpful, but you can also do a couple other things. You can, of course, as always, we encourage you to adopt. If you can't do that, we have our Buddy program, which is where you take them out for the day on a day trip if you want to go to like a pumpkin festival or something. And then we also have weekend fosters where you can foster for the weekend. We also have just fostering where you can foster for just a couple days to a week or something, just however long you may need. We also have slumber parties where you can take them just for the night and see how it goes. And volunteering, donating, adopting, all of that. It's just very big help. We definitely need it, and right now is the time that we could use everybody's help to get all of these animals out, even if you just want to come up and take a dog for a walk, take some pictures of them, learn all about them, and maybe even make a post of them yourself.
Final thing I want to bring up here, we had a text that says, do you take puppy and kitten milk supplements?
Yes.
I don't think they meant do you personally take them. I think, do you have them with your breakfast? I think they were asking, do you accept the donations?
Yes, we do. We definitely take in milk replacements as well as the supplements that go along with those, anything that we can get to help, because we do have some kittens and puppies that come in that may need that extra push. So, yes, we definitely take those. All
right, Hannah, we'll talk to you next week. I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hannah Gardner from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association. The dog's name is Mischief. 1-year-old male, not fixed yet, but will be. Seems to be dog-friendly. Has a lot of puppy-like tendencies, they say, which means he's probably going to chew on things a little bit till he gets a little bit older and is corrected. Seems to be really good with other playful dogs. They're still working on the house training with him a little bit, but again, he's young, only 1 year old, so it's certainly something that you could work through. Beautiful, beautiful dog. He's updated on all of his vaccines. If you want to see the picture of Mischief, again, I've got his picture posted to Dave Allen Radio on Facebook, and also it's on my Twitter page, which is @DaveA70. So go check out Mischief. And again, it's always we always have to throw this out there. If you're an animal lover, as I said earlier, and that's, you live in an apartment, or you're maxed out on the number of critters you can have in your house, there are so many other ways that you can help the shelter. You can take them out for a day. As she said, you can foster, or you can just make a donation. Doesn't have to be cash necessarily. If you got some old towels and blankets laying around, they need those sort of things at the shelter. If you want to buy some dog or cat food, just get in touch with them, or just drop them off up there. I'm sure they would be glad to have them. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy, West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues, heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and RSV. It's a podcast offering insights into medical breakthroughs and preventative care, featuring WVU Medicine's expert physicians aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond West Virginia. It's a valuable resource for all. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, under the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor, text 304-935-5008. And a reminder from our good friend Mr. Paranzino down at Tony Vitaylor, today and tomorrow, they are doing their fall shoe special, 20 to 75% off on some quality footwear at Tony Vitaylor. Again, it's today and tomorrow only. We're going to take a break. When we come back a little bit later on, Greg Thomas from West Virginia Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse is here, and Jim Strawn is up next. Back after this from the Parmar Store studio, the final day in this particular studio, right here on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
A serious injury can disrupt your life in an instant, but the Peyton Law Firm is ready to fight for you. Our firm has years of experience holding property owners accountable when negligence leads to accidents. If you've been injured through no fault of your own, don't wait. Contact us today. We'll work hard to get your family the compensation you need to cover medical bills, replace lost wages, and pain and suffering. Peyton Law Firm, your trusted team for injury cases. Contact us at PeytonLawFirm.com or 304-755-5556.
At Boot Barn, we believe that the cowboy boot is an American icon. Today's boots are not only rooted in history, but are enhanced with modern technology features for the working cowboy. Ariat boots are built with advanced technology that provides the comfort and support of a high-performance athletic shoe, yet still has the functionality and durability of the iconic cowboy boot. And at Boot Barn, we carry over 250,000 pairs of Ariat boots nationwide. Ariat at Boot Barn.
Creating a better future for West Virginia families. That's the promise of Andrew Anderson. Born and raised in Kanawha County, Andrew Anderson now raises his kids in our community. Andrew Anderson is an engineer and job creator with decades of experience in energy and manufacturing. Andrew will take his experience to the House of Delegates to create more jobs and end the drug abuse crisis that hurts our families. Vote Andrew Anderson for House of Delegates.
I'm Andrew Anderson, and I ask for your vote on November 5th for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Andrew Anderson for West Virginia.
Hey, it's Dave Allen for Parmar Stores. The most wonderful time of the year is here. Of course, I'm talking about football season, and your local Parmar store is ready. Whether you're heading to the game or just catching it at home, Parmar has everything you'll need, from the drinks to the snacks and so much more. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar rewards cards for even more savings. West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. Happy football. And if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
926, the Dave Allen Show and 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Text says, Dear Dave, make sure you give us the 30-second warning on Greg Thomas. Thank you in advance. Should be around 9:40 or so. Every time I have Mr. Thomas, you can just have these guests on the show. that whether people like them or don't like them or they're indifferent, that they always elicit a lot of calls, a lot of texts and things of that nature. You know, we call them in the business, we call them hot buttons. And Greg Thomas is a hot button. Mike Pushkin is a hot button. So, yeah, I'm going to give you a warning that about 20 till or so, Greg Thomas is going to join us. I don't have to give a warning for this gentleman, though. His name is Andrew Blackwell with Habitat for Humanity. How are you, man?
Good morning. Yeah, we're doing great. Thanks.
What'd you do with Strawn? I thought Jim
I don't
Strawn
know.
was coming
He works on his own schedule.
well, he may very well be the busiest man in the world.
He's probably listening to us right now.
Well, let's talk some crap about him then. You have a big event coming up next week. It's going to be at the Ball Toyota Event Center on Patrick Street in Charleston, called the Taste of Chef Paul.
Yes.
It is a nod, of course, to our James Beard Award-winning chef, Chef Paul Smith. It's fundraiser, though, for Habitat for Humanity. Talk about this event.
Yeah, so every year we offer a taste of selections from a prominent chef from across West Virginia. Usually that chef is from out of town, but the timeliness of the James Beard Award really called us to invite Chef Paul to come do this event for us. And I learned just the other day that when he was in high school, he was a volunteer for Habitat for Humanity here in Charleston. Really? So it was a really good fit. I think he's excited to do it.
So I'm looking at this menu here, and I'm a foodie, and so I'm looking at this menu. So we got. I'm just going to mention a couple things here. 1010 Caesar salad. You had me at Caesar salad. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Horseradish bread and butter pickles, toasted brioche with ramp herb peppercorn. Potato souffle bites, and over to the main menu, Nashville fried chicken. Yeah, you got me on that one. You got me on all of these. I don't need to read all these.
And the great thing is the selection. You get to go pick and try things.
Right.
And these are staples that Chef Paul is known for. The Gulf shrimp and grits, cast iron seared 1010 beef, and then a chocolate silk tartlet for dessert.
Let me tell you, you had my wife at shrimp and grits because that's her favorite thing. If she had to choose between me and a plate of shrimp or grits, goodbye, Dave.
Absolutely.
But I'm a big fan of just about any kind of food. Now, this is happening Tuesday at the Ball Toyota Event Center. Talk about how to get tickets.
Yeah, so you can go to our website. If you search for Habitat for Humanity, Kanawha Putnam, you'll find us there. And it's one of the banner images, so you can click on it and get tickets. Now, you're going to have to act fast. I think we have less than a dozen tickets left.
Really? Less than a dozen tickets left?
Yes.
Yeah. And for good reason. I mean, because this is a great event. And I want to give a big shout out to the folks over at Ball Toyota and their event center, David and Sean and those folks over there. They're just fantastic to give back to the community, whether it's this event, the Inside the Huddle event that they host every year with Tony Caridi. There's just so many different events that they have over there. They're just simply great people that believe in giving back in the community.
Well, and that's critical. And I think it's a central focus of our mission as well, providing affordable housing to neighbors in our community because everybody deserves a decent place to live.
Matter of fact, Mr. Strawn just texted me and said, listening, thank you. So he's listening somewhere right now.
My phone beeped too, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you were included on the text as well. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Birds in our sister station, The Beat, invite you to Gomart Ballpark Thursday the 24th for Trick or Beat, presented by Salango Law. 2 sessions, one at 6, the other at 7:30. You must have a ticket to be admitted. Tickets are available in our studios, 1111 Virginia Street East in Charleston, during normal business hours, and you got to get those tickets. All right, so you touched on a little bit, Andrew, but let's go back and kind of give us the overall mission of Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, so we develop and provide affordable housing for members of our community, and there's a big misconception that Habitat gives houses away. That's actually not the case. Our big advantage for folks who need housing and who are willing to partner with us by investing sweat equity and helping build their house or the house of somebody else in the program is a 0% interest mortgage. And so over the life of a 30-year mortgage, that, normally at commercial rates, you pay just as much as you pay for the house in interest. And so at 0% interest, you don't have that expense.
And the tickets for this particular event, again, are $100 for single tickets or a couple or for 2 tickets, $175. But as Andrew said, you got to get these yesterday.
Quickly.
Yeah, I mean,
I figure they'll be sold out by the end of today.
By the end of this interview, they may be gone.
Could be.
They could be gone. And I think it's very important that you bring out again about the misconceptions about Habitat for Humanity, which you mentioned, is that you're just giving people a home and saying here's your house,
right.
and like Oprah, you get a car, and here's some keys, and have at it. But it's all about sweat equity.
It is. We like to say that we do not give a hand out; we give a hand up. Mm-hmm. And access to affordable housing is becoming more and more difficult, especially safe, decent housing. And so I think we play a critical role in part of the solution. We're not the whole solution by any means, but we do a substantial part, I believe. And I
want to talk a little bit about my good friend Chef Paul Smith. He may be challenging Jim Strawn for the busiest guy in Charleston. I mean, with his restaurants and of course,
the new opening.
I was going to say he announced earlier this week he's going to be opening up a new place up on Bridge Road, an Italian neighborhood type spot called Paulie's. I love the name. I love it. And I read the article the great article that the food guy Stephen Keith did in the Gazette Mail earlier this week about that. But he always, Chef Paul always has time to give back to the community. I mean, matter of fact, I'll tell you a quick story. A couple of weeks ago, he's doing an event. He's doing some different projects with HealthRight. And I put the wrong graphic up on my little Facebook post promoting the show because I had like 3 different things that Chef Paul was doing. And in my preview, I put up the wrong graphic for the wrong event. And I had to go back and correct it because I got them all mixed up.
Yeah, his commitment to the community is really commendable. And, that's we all thrive when we help each other.
Yeah, indeed. Again, we're talking with Andrew Blackwell with Habitat for Humanity, the Taste of Chef Paul in Charleston. And again, it's being advertised as an exclusive dinner featuring a variety of gourmet items prepared by Chef Paul Smith. It's Tuesday at the Ball Toyota Event Center. But as of our airtime this morning, there were only about 12 tickets or so left. You got to hit the website and you got to get those tickets. And it's just going to be, I think, one of those events, Andrew, in Charleston that you don't want to miss.
No, we won't have a whole lot of talking. We'll talk a little bit about what we do and why we do it, but the evening's about the food.
Yeah, and about Habitat for Humanity as well. And I first got this, last night. Actually, I already had it saved anyway, but I was looking at it. And I was like, my God, this sounds good. And at my particular time I read this, I didn't have any of these items in my kitchen.
Yeah.
I did not have access to a plate of shrimp and grits at like 9 o'clock last night.
Right, exactly.
So that's good stuff. By the way, you are the second to last guest to be in this particular studio.
You just told me that. I feel honored.
On Monday, we will be moving downstairs, and the whole plan is we're going to move downstairs, which is, like Chris said, a transitional studio, and then they're going to rebuild the studio that we are in now with cameras. So in addition to listening to the show, just like with Hoppy,
you can tune in live,
and you can watch all of the. You can watch Jim Strawn come into our studio and kick over the computer tower like he did a couple of weeks ago. I
figured the cameras would be here today, so I got all dolled up, but apparently for no reason.
All right. So again, let's go over all the details on the event again. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this coming Tuesday, the sponsors reception starts at 5, dinner at 6. Tickets are available at hfhkp.org.
And it's going to be a great menu. I mentioned some of the items that are going to be there, and all the proceeds that are raised will benefit Habitat for Humanity. Big shout out to the folks at Ball Toyota and also the John L. Dickinson Family Homeowner Education and Community Center as well. Get those tickets. As of airtime, there are only about 12 tickets that were available. So get them.
Go quick. Go quick.
All right, Andrew, I appreciate you being here. 25 minutes away from 10. Hang out with me 1 second here. In the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Special Olympics, a remarkable initiative showcasing the latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington, stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics at facebook.com/580WCHS. 24 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Biggly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. Greg Thomas coming up next, back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Jatar Family Businesses. Eric Jatar Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
We need leaders in the House of Delegates who know what it takes to create jobs. We need Mark Carter in District 57.
All of us are struggling with the inflation caused by Biden and Harris. I have worked with employers paying great wages to bring them to West Virginia. I'm committed to doing it again.
Mark Carter is running for House of Delegates to improve our economy and create better paying jobs for our families. Let's elect a pro-jobs leader to the House.
I am Mark Carter, and I would appreciate your vote for House of Delegates.
Paid for by Mark Carter for West Virginia.
Welcome to Poca Valley, where we've been in business since 1908. Today, we serve Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties. We believe you deserve banking that provides friendly customer service. For all of your financial needs, stop by one of our 8 convenient locations. Call us at 844-782-2651 or visit us online at PocaValleyBank.com. Poca Valley, where relationships matter.
Member FDIC.
Republican Eric Nelson is the candidate for state senate that Kanawha County families can count on. Senator Eric Nelson has helped create thousands of good-paying jobs and voted to give West Virginians the largest tax cut in our state's history. Voting for Eric Nelson, you know what you get. Better roads, more jobs, lower taxes, and the best education for our children. Eric Nelson supports West Virginia conservative values. Vote to re-elect Senator Eric Nelson. Paid for by the committee to elect Eric Nelson.
Calling all sports fans this season, the Toyota Tacoma is your MVP. Most versatile pickup. Hey, it's Sydney. And whether you're hauling gear or heading out for a weekend adventure, the all-new 2024 Toyota Tacoma has you covered. Ready to win? Drive off in a new Toyota Tacoma today with rates as low as 4.99% APR. It's game time at the new Thornhill Toyota. Your new Tacoma is waiting on the road to total savings. US 119 in Chapmanville and ThornhillToyotaWV.com. Every fan, every team, every season, go Thornhill. Let's qualify for all offers through Toyota Financial. See Thornhill for full details.
22 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor is always happy to take your call. Rich has a beautiful listing in Scott Depot, 75 Poinsettia Drive in Scott Depot. Stunning 5,600 square foot home. Too many features to mention here, but it does have 6 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 2 laundry rooms, and a full house generator to make sure that the power always stays on. Call or text my good friend Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488. Let him tell you more about this wonderful property. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Text says sweat equity. Wow, that's a new one. DEI being pushed in every aspect of life, community, business, and society. Just say you have to work and help build the home, which is what Habitat for Humanity used to have to say. All right. Speaking of Tony the Tailor, again, I do want to remind you that our text line sponsor has got his fall shoe sale going on right now, today and tomorrow, 20 to 75% off some great-looking shoes. Go check out Tony the Tailor downtown. Hoppy Kirchville coming up with Talk Line at 10:06 this morning from Morgantown. State Education Chairman Amy Nicole Grady on today talking about PEIA, plus Jaron Halpert from Fox News Radio with some info on the presidential race. It is a blackout tomorrow night in Morgantown. Voice of the Mountaineers, Tony Caridi, on with Hop with a preview of that. It's coal rush night tomorrow night. That'll make somebody angry, I'm sure. Brad McElhenney is, well, actually, you laugh, Thomas, in jest.
Oh, I know. I'm laughing because I know you're right.
All right. Brad McElhenney is on today with more financial issues involving Governor Justice, plus some stuff with the West Virginia First Foundation that's charged with the distribution of opioid settlement monies. And, of course, Steam Release, because it is Friday. Hoppy Kirchville, 10:06, Metro News Talk Line from the Encove Insurance Studios in the Dale Miller Building in Morgantown. Greg Thomas is here. I said that, Greg, because I read some online chatter that some people were upset. Now, there's always going to be, and I'm a sports nut, so there's always going to be people that say, unless you wear traditional gold and blue, and they do that with Marshall too, it should be one color, and I completely get that. But there are people upset that they are paying tribute to coal miners. I mean, how screwed up is that? I mean, to be honest with you, man. I mean, and they did the same thing with the Dirty Birds. A lot of people didn't like the Dirty Birds name. I'll give them that. But they said we should not be paid tribute to a business that has caused so much devastation in West Virginia. How about a business that supported this state for a number of years, along with the steel industry? But I'll get off my soapbox.
People it's a testament to how far along the country has come for people to. That's what they have to complain about, right? Like it's not like how am I going to eat? How am I going to do this? Like that's the thing that's like really stuck on them is things like that. I mean, I'm not surprised by it, of course. I mean, it's and it's at W, which Morgantown is like, our cities are liberal, man. Like,
well, at least two of them are.
I think Charleston's liberal. I think Huntington's liberal. Morgantown's liberal.
Huntington tends to be because anywhere that you have a university, a large university.
I've seen recent polling from that area that will tell you that they're more liberal than what you think they are.
Really?
Yeah, it's look, I think it's the whole country's that way, right? Though, I mean, the urban areas are becoming increasingly blue, and the rural areas are becoming increasingly red.
And the battle's for the suburbs, I guess.
I guess,
which is probably a mix, I would think.
Yeah, well, it's a pendulum that swings back and forth, right? I mean, the suburban people, it's less about the culture and just more about the pocketbook, right? And if the economy's going well, they have the ability to care about other issues, and if it's not going well, then that's what they care about. And I think right now in the country, that is what people care about, right? I mean, I think the suburban people now, it's less about social issues and things like that, and it's more inflation's killing people. Inflation's killing people, and if you're somebody that's bought a house on a 5-year ARM or whatever, and you're living in the suburbs, and you're like, gosh, the interest rates are killing me. Just going to the grocery store is very, very expensive. And I think that's, when Trump makes the election about that, he picks up steam, right? And he has been doing that for the last few weeks.
Well, then look, and I'm not necessarily a fan of Donald Trump, but I will say this: I agree with you 100% on that but he can't seem to help himself, Greg. He has to go off on these tangents and put out so much BS out there that gets. If he would just stay, and I know probably his handlers are saying, economy, stay on the economy, stay on the economy.
I talked to, I do other radio interviews like this and speak to groups, and I was speaking to a conservative group up in Fairmont a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about lawsuit abuse like I'm about to here, and other kind of conservative issues and Republican stuff, and one of the ladies was like, man, Trump needs somebody like you to tell him what to say. And I was like, buddy, you know how many people he's got like me? Like, that dude's got all kinds of people around him all day long being like, you got to say this, here's the polling, here's the messaging, here's what you got to do. And sometimes he does, and sometimes he doesn't. And I will say, I do think he's been doing a pretty good job over the last couple of weeks. And I think that's why you're seeing him with a lead, right? I mean, it went from he had this huge lead over Biden. They pulled, the Democrat, whoever makes decisions for the Democrat Party, they pulled him off the ballot. They installed Kamala without any votes. And the media went crazy for her, and the liberals in the city, in the urban areas, went crazy for her. Her numbers went way, way up. And now, though, people are actually, they tried to hide her, right? I mean, she wasn't doing the interviews.
Even the Democrats were coming, and her supporters were saying, I mean, even people on some of the Sunday morning show, the Donna Brazils of the world, were saying, she'll get out there. And then she came back and said, no, she's got to get out there.
Yeah.
And she has been.
Well, she has been, and it hasn't been going very well, right? I mean, I think, I don't think this is a situation of her being incompetent. I think this is, I think she's extremely liberal, and I think they are now coaching her to say, you can't actually show people who you are because you're going to lose, right? Mm-hmm. You're so liberal that if people know this, and now I think she's just sort of being overhandled. Right. And that's, and I've seen it at the local level. I mean, not to this degree because it's, national attention and all that. But, I think she's just being overhandled. And she's being overhandled because they are scared to death. She's going to actually tell people what she thinks, which is far, far left of where those independent suburban people that you sort of brought up are. Mm-hmm. And I think Trump, so now all of a sudden she's, not doing great on the stage, on the world stage, really, because everybody's watching to see what happens with our presidential election. Trump right now is actually staying relatively disciplined for him.
For him,
it's a
asterisk.
It's a scale. It's a relative situation, and I think he's doing a pretty good job of staying focused. And it's immigration, it's the economy. That's what they need to be talking about. And I think the more the Democrats, this whole thing where like she's trying to separate herself from Biden is hilarious to me, right? I mean, you're the vice president.
Yeah, that's a hard ask. I mean, of anybody.
And the fact that they're, they're trying to pull it off. It's not working among anybody other than like their, solid blue people are believing that. So they're in a tough spot. I mean, they really are. They've got a candidate that can't actually be herself. They've got an economy that they have to own, which is not going well. You've got this unrest in several different places across the world that we keep meddling in, and people back home, man, are just kind of like, I don't want you to continue to fill our cities with illegals. We need to put our FEMA money in the wake of these hurricanes and storms rather than just, propping up, bringing in hundreds of thousands and millions of illegals to our country's cities. And they're in a tough spot. I mean, I think if the election were today, Trump wins. But as you said, we've got a month, and he has, he's stuck his foot in his mouth in less time than a month before.
Yes, indeed. But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Bridge Valley. If you're interested in improving your company's IT workforce, know that Bridge Valley can offer custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap. You can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. They can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships today. Text says inflation, this is like what they did was an ABC here.
Okay.
A, inflation is not killing people. B, climate change caused by burning fossil fuels is actually killing people. And C, Greg Thomas is a suburbanite.
Oh, my gosh. This person's 1 for 3. Okay. I actually am a suburbanite. So
okay, they got that. As am I. I'm a suburbanite.
They're 1 for 3. I live at the edge of South Charleston because I don't live within the socialist confines of where I'm currently located. They're 1 for 3 there, right? I mean, for anybody to say that inflation isn't killing people, it's like, I mean, this is either somebody who's just extremely brainwashed on the end of where like they're entirely relying upon the government for their own well-being, or it's somebody that's so rich they don't have to worry about the fact that their groceries cost twice as much as they did 3 years ago. And so, and climate change, if you still believe in climate change at this time, I mean, how gullible do you have to be?
Well,
I mean, what an unbelievable
Let me
hoax.
push back on that a little bit. Do you think it's possible for people to believe, because it's always been this yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
I am one that believes that climate change is a thing, but I don't necessarily know how much I buy into the fact that man has as much to do with it as what they say it does. I mean, the climate is changing, but it's.
I guess I got okay. I should have said I think man-made climate change is a hoax. I think it is a hoax. I think it's a socialist-driven scam.
All right. Let me get to okay. All right, we discovered that you were a suburbanite. Okay, we answered that. Greg Thomas is a Republican propagandist who spews talking points to appease his dear leader. You talk about your fiance now, I guess, right? Your dear leader.
Yeah. I don't have any talking points in front of me. I guess I just say the things that I believe. I don't know. There are things that I don't. There are Republican talking points that I can't sit around and watch Fox. To me, Fox News is sort of the Republican talking point stuff, right? It's like, okay,
yeah, you're not a fan.
No, and I think it's just disingenuous, and I think it's not good for us in the long run to just be like, okay, let's just hit the lowest common denominator every morning, right? I mean, I get that you've got to do it sometimes, but at some point, you've got to get by just that lowest common denominator and actually have a discussion about how we're going to solve problems. And I don't really think that's what that level of cable, news does. And that's just the nature of the beast, right? I mean, it's that's Facebook, that's Fox News. It's sort of the same stuff. It's just what's the lowest common denominator that we can hit, and that's what they hit. But look, I don't know. I'm actually a conservative. I've been a conservative my whole life. I believe I believe in it. I mean, I'm friends with actual liberals, right? That like believe it. I mean, I don't really have a lot of friends in the modern day Democratic Party because I think they're just actual like socialists. But I think 20 years ago, Democrats were like liberal. You know what I mean? Like we were all trying to get to the same place. We were just going in different directions. Right. And I think the modern day Democratic Party we're not even going to the same place. It's like we're not even on the same planet.
And I think if I could play devil's advocate here, and then we got to go to break, I think that some of that could be said for some of the far right Republicans too. And trust me, I'm not talking about Greg Thomas here. I'm not talking about Eric Tarr here. I'm talking about far right. They're doing more damage. The Marjorie Taylor Greens of the world, in my opinion, are doing more damage to the Republican Party than what any Democrat could ever do.
We have people on our side that want total control the way there are people on the far left that want total control. Right? I mean, that's really what it is. And I guess that's what, there's always been that argument of like some of the actual conservatives are just the old school liberals, right? It was like, okay, we want people to take care of themselves. We want you to be able to make decisions for yourself, whatever that decision may be, sort of that libertarian almost end of our party. But no, we have people on our side that want to force, certain, they want to govern, govern morality type stuff. I mean, that stuff's crazy.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you by Brightway Insurance and Mays Agency. Spend time on your business, not your insurance. Brightway the Mays Agency can help explain the type of insurance you need based on your particular line of business, your location, and other important factors. They can select different insurance companies to make sure you're getting the right coverages and prices to protect your business. For more, visit brightwaymays.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Your next fall adventure is just around the corner at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Hurricane. Now, whether you need a vehicle to get the family to the football game, to the pumpkin patch, or up into the mountains to check out the fall colors, Walker has got you covered. We're talking everything from Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Gladiator to Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500. Walker has got them all. That's because Gene and Ryan have loaded down the lot with inventory, both new and used, to make sure that you're going to find the perfect vehicle for all of your fall adventures. And once you find it, you know that you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker, too. That's because they built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games in Walker, just honest, fair deals. So what are you waiting for? Fall is the season of adventure, and Walker's got the cars, trucks, and SUVs that are going to get you there. Take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
You can now watch The Voice of West Virginia in the comfort of your living room. See Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval, Sports Line with Tony Caridi, 3 Guys Before the Game, along with live events right on your smart TV or streaming device. Get the Metro News Television app from the Apple App Store or Google Marketplace. Metro News Television is powered by Parmar, Dan Cava GMC, and Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Sick of negative headlines coming out of the Capitol and around West Virginia? Think the government should just work?
I'm Kayla Young, and as your delegate, I've focused on putting money back in your pockets through tax cuts, fixing childcare, protecting our kids from abuse and neglect, and just making sure that everyone's getting along by working hard for you instead of culture wars that make your life worse, not any better. Like you, I know we still have some work to do.
This November, vote Kayla Young for House of Delegates to make West Virginia the best it can be and to make government more boring. Paid for by Kayla Young for West Virginia.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues, allergies, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. Text says, please do not let him deliberately mispronounce our vice president's name. It is not Kamala. It is Kamala.
Kamala. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry. That wasn't on like purpose. Just don't. I don't watch a lot. I don't watch a lot of cable news. I don't know what. I just read it. I don't say it.
Tex says, I don't mind Mr. Thomas as he has his opinions, but I could never cast a vote for Donald Trump. He does not stand for anything I want to see done in America. I pity us if he actually wins. Tex says, Dave, thanks for having Greg Thomas on the program. He's a man with common sense. Let me
Look there.
see.
Was my dad listening? What is that?
Tex says, it's sad listening to Greg cheer for a dementia-stricken geezer. Dementia-stricken geezer. Good name for a band. All right, so let me. The real reason I had you here today was to talk about you. Of course, are the director of Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse in West Virginia. This has been This has been Lawsuit Awareness Week. So we got parades. We got a Lawsuit Awareness Queen. What do we got? You did get a proclamation from the governor.
The governor issued a proclamation for Lawsuit Abuse Awareness Week. Look, just something we do every year to kind of highlight, the messages that we give all year, but essentially just to say, look, this is an issue that impacts people. We essentially have, we did a study where, that was out there. We call it like a tort tax. It's like how much does lawsuit abuse cost your family? We did one here in West Virginia. It was about $662.35 a year. Cost the states over 10,000 jobs a year. Obviously it's been an issue that the legislature has addressed. We've made a lot of strides in improving our state Supreme Court. We got the creation of the Intermediate Appellate Court. But we still have problems, right? I mean, our circuit courts are still very bad in a lot of places, especially here in Kanawha County. There's certain things that just pop up, right? I mean, you see advertising around certain issues. Anytime you see an ad for a lawsuit, that means those people are making more money off of those types of lawsuits than what they probably should be, right? I mean, so we try to highlight that kind of stuff. It has a negative impact on jobs. It has a negative impact on access to affordable health care. And, so Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse get over 20,000 members statewide, and we just continue to talk about the message and highlight the abuse.
The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live brought to you part by Hudson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Hudson's, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an 8-inch chocolate chip cookie, only $23.99. Texas people dog Fox all the time, but notice the stories you get on there you don't see on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, et cetera, Shall I go on? Well, one of the reasons is that I dog Fox News is because they admitted in court that they weren't a legitimate news source. They admitted that they came out and said we are entertainment. It's court documented. They said we are not a legitimate news source. I mean, what do you want? I want to close with this because, Greg, this is a serious time here. Mm-hmm. As I've been saying throughout the show, that this is our last day in this particular studio. I don't know exactly how many years that things have come out of this studio, but I mean, you think about people like Don Cook and all these people that have sat in this very seat. Come Monday, we're in a brand new studio. You, Greg Thomas, the lightning rod that you are, the bad mofo, you are the last ever guest in this studio in all those years.
Well, it's unexpected that is the case for me to walk in here and do this. But I appreciate. Look, talk radio is important. It's important for a community. You guys provide an essential service. You do a very, very good job with it. And look, I think you don't really have a real community if you don't have this kind of platform. You guys do it and do it very well.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. We didn't even pay you to say that. All right. Last ever guest was Greg Thomas. I want that on a plaque, Ryan. Let's put that up here. Like almost like Employee of the Month. Our last ever guest was Greg Thomas. We got to go. Hoppy coming up at 10:06. Have a great weekend. See you Monday in the new studios. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
W243DRFM Charleston and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.